We discuss what I dub for this talk, Metaphysical Vampire. It is a quick summation of some parts of nothing stuff, game folly of the netherworld, other world, dimensions, below the surface, read between the lines, hidden meanings underlying of another perspective, perceptions. Next in our evaluation of self and us and self, we will look at metaphysical. I talked about looking at toxic. We're going to talk about toxic environment. So we're going to talk about toxic. Then we're going to talk about metaphysical vampire, and we're going to talk about environment. So next in our evaluation of us and self and us, we will look at metaphysical vampire aspects. Humans have much interconnectedness and interdependencies, and that's in many ways. So people live off of each other in all kinds of ways. We all have familiar functions, familiar humanistic traits, and familiar thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. Familiar functions, human traits, like walking and talking. Okay? Like different people speak different languages, of course, so of course it's more familiar with the same language, obviously, things like that. When one person yawns, another person yawns. It can be contagious. These are some of the very interconnected things that we have. Laughter is contagious. Hunger can be transferred amongst people. One person coughs, another person can cough. Another thing about the coughing and even just getting a tickle in your throat when someone coughs, or you begin, you may want to cover your nose and cover your mouth and get out of the way when you see someone coughing. Because obviously when they do that, it is transferable in a way that can end up giving you a cold or even some other type of disease or virus, some other type of virus. Nothing happens overnight. None of this just came out of thin air. We're talking about COVID-19 and our toxic environment and our incompatible relationship with everything. So we must discuss familiar. We're talking about familiar functions, habits, the things like that. We all have a mind, right? A material mind and an immaterial mind. An immaterial mind and a material mind. Because with an immaterial mind, like your mind is a spirit. You have a spiritual mind. And then, of course, you have what the neuroscience would consider your material brain and the synapses and the cerebrum and the cerebellum and different aspects of your brain. So we must discuss familiar spirits also. All right. With familiar spirits, we're going to discuss about the firmament. And from the firmament, we will discuss folly. Like I said, now this comes out overnight. None of this happened overnight. This all didn't just come out of thin air. What led up to the coronavirus and the COVID-19 condition that we are in is very important to pay attention to this.
They say they need answers. About what? Will I get big fat?